I can go back.
Okay.
But I think our family before we came to Earth was probably not the exact same structure. But you know, we had parents. I think we had.
You had love back then.
Yeah, we did.
So and that was the main thing.
Yeah, and that was the whole thing, was that it was about love. And our parents were a heavenly father and a heavenly mother. As far as siblings and stuff, as far as I understand, or what I believe, is that everybody was, were siblings.
Mm-hmm. Now, another question about the problem of evil. I've talked to the missionaries about this sometimes, but in your own words, why would you say most of the worst things happen, like the worst evils? Why did they even happen?
Are you asking a question like, why would a God who is good allow bad things to happen?
Yeah.
I think, well, if you think about it as in this life, if you are a parent who doesn't let anything bad happen to your kids, you gave them such a rich life, you gave them everything on a silver platter, what would happen when they, grow up and leave the house? They would fall apart. They're disasters. I think that God gives us total freedom to do what we want, whether it's good or bad, and we have to live with the consequences. And so because of that, people are inherently going to eventually be corrupted and do bad things, and there's going to be a lot of wickedness in the world. And I think that when people question, well, God wouldn't allow this sort of thing to happen, it's so atrocious, I think they're viewing things understandably from mortal perspective. Like, for them, this is so bad, and this could be the worst thing that ever happens, infanticide, all these things. But I think in God's view, in his perspective, he has such a much broader perspective and understanding of his purposes, that to us, that's the bad things that happen are so bad that there couldn't be anything good that comes from it. But I think from God's perspective, it has to happen. It's part of the reason why we come here. And it's hard for some people, or harder for some, than others.
In my view, I used to always think that suffering was a form of evil, and that dying is a form of evil. But pain, like some animals have a pain threshold that will, how they'll stop feeling pain after a while.
Mm-hmm.
And dying is like going to sleep. It's not a bunch of terrible evil. It's just hard to accept because we're trained to fight it. And
well, I think that I've heard some people say that suffering is the only way that people grow, and that if you wanted to build an ideal society, you let people suffer and work through their problems, and that's the only way that you can progress. But
that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, and some people have said that, and I think there's some truth to it. But I think suffering is something that we couldn't have learned before we came, had a physical body and had been able to choose these things. That's the reason why I think we have life on Earth and we live and die, is that, death, life, and all these hard things and suffering, and ultimately death has to be part of it. We needed to know that, something that we couldn't have experienced with just a spirit, right?
I guess we can call it a wrap for now.
Okay.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Okay, bye.